Welcome to part 2 of my Mother's Day card, which is the Cricut design and my creative card making process. So this is actually my first card I've ever made on my new Cricut machine. So here I am in Cricut Design Space, and I've edited out a lot of stuff, so for time obviously. So I'm getting rid of this envelope because I figured I don't need it. I'm going to give it to my mom in person, and I'll just take you through my process here of how I altered this card. So I chose this card. It was a free one for Mother's Day, and because I wanted that cut part on the right, but I didn't want this print part in the middle. So I ungroup it because when you first place it in, it's grouped. So I just right clicked and pressed ungroup, and I took off that print part, the green part, and here I am manually under edit. I just unlocked it and sized it 11 inches by 7.5. And then the part under it, I just go over to the right there and hit the unlock button to have it not constrain proportions, and I made it 7.5 inches. Actually, no, I kept the lock on because 7.5, I wanted it to constrain proportions. And then I unlocked it just to stretch. Oh, that was my phone, sorry. And then I unlocked it just to stretch it over to make it fit. Then I moved it to the back. You hit arrange and move to the back. And then here I'm going to change the colors because I'm going to make them green to go with my green flapper girl character, the colored character that I did in part 1. So I'm basically making the main part of the card a darker green, and then that lighter cutout part light green. So next part, now I need to go and just do some inspiration shopping and look and see what kind of little symbols or fonts do I want to, you can separate things into parts. You've got your background, your character, and your text and your symbols. So I've got my character, which I drew my flapper girl and colored her in part 1. I've got my card base. So now I need the other elements of, say, some symbols, some decorative symbols in Art Deco, and some text. So here I am just sort of looking around, and I did a lot more than this. I just edited it down for this video so it wasn't too long. So here I put in mom text vector because I'm looking for some vector text, and I didn't like that mom one with the flower, so I thought, okay, I'm going to go in and make my own text. So here I am back in Cricut Design Space. I type in mom because I think, okay, what kind of fonts do they have in here? And I got so frustrated that trying to figure that out that I just said forget it, and I'm going into Illustrator because I'm a classically trained designer. I know all my design programs. So I jumped here into Illustrator, which is so much easier, and just you can do so much in here. So just to make some simple text, I figured I'd do that in order to show people who know Illustrator, or if you wanted to learn it, how to come into Illustrator. It's Adobe Illustrator, and make an SVG out of some text or a symbol. So here I typed mom, sized it, made it green, and I'm going in here looking at the fonts. Now I figured out that I needed an Art Deco font. So I go back into Google and I search free fonts Art Deco. And I think I decide to pick the top link there, 204 free Art Deco fonts, or I don't know what I clicked there. 1001fonts.com, and then it's the Art Deco area here, and it's a touch. So I I don't know, this is just a design thing, the one that I picked. I kind of know what I want. I want it to be kind of blocky yet sort of decorative, and that's perfect there. The Coventry Garden is the one that I picked, so I clicked on download. It's the second one down there. And here I am just in Font Book. This is on a Mac. I just decided to make an Art Deco category, and you turn on the use of the font. It's sort of like a font organizer for designers so that you don't have thousands of fonts cluttering up your system. So I'm just activating the font here. I'm going in there, choosing it and saying open, and it's gonna activate the font on my system basically. So I jump back here into Illustrator and I've got my mom text typed out. Now I just go to the top under character, and now I just have to search for Coventry Garden. And that wasn't it, but I'll get it here in a second. There it is. And so I like the look of that. It's perfect. And you know what? I end up not even using this. It's just, I like to assemble a bunch of elements ahead of time. This is my creative process. Okay, and here I'm going pretty quickly, but if you see what I did there, all I'm doing is I went to Illustrator File, Save As, SVG, and pressed OK, and saved it into the area that I wanted to save it. And then I go back into Cricut Design Space here, and I go into Vector Upload, browse for the vector image, and then I go, see it says mom text there, .svg, and then I went open. And you want to name it something and put keywords, definitely, because as you get lots of images, you're going to need that. So I put mom text Art Deco, and I think I called it Mom Art Deco. And then save. And there's my SGV that I just created in Illustrator down at the bottom, and then I put, it didn't show it, but I clicked on it and I pressed insert image, and there's the mom. Now the thing is, I haven't decided at this point yet whether I want to cut it out. Actually, at this point I thought I was going to cut it out and overlay it over the character on the front of the card. But then as I was doing this, it hit me that, hey, I could write it. And so I decided to do two options. I thought, oh well, I'll cut it out and I will also design it so that I can write it, because I don't know, as my creative process goes, I have, new things pop into your head as you're designing. So some people have a plan right from the beginning, others let the creativity come organically, and I'm a mixture of both, of course. But so here, what am I looking for in here? I don't know yet. Oh, square. I'm looking for a square. Oh, I think what I was, oh no, okay. So here's this is actually a Liberty crown, but I thought, hey, that's really cool. I imported it it was kind of Art Deco, so I thought, hey, I'll put that in the back, or, I'm just playing with it here to see what I could do with it. I had the thought, oh, I'll put that in the back, I'll make it smaller, and then I'll write underneath, handmade by me, because I kind of need an element. I needed an element for behind my character, like I wanted the Art Deco sort of fan behind her, but I end up ditching this symbol in the end. But I just figured I'd show you here the creative process where I bring things in, try them out, then sometimes I don't like them and I chuck them. Sometimes I use them, but I ended up not using this. Okay, so you can see I put that crown on the other side and I turned it into silver writing. I don't know, I just put it there. Anyway, so at this point I decided, hey, I could write the word mom in silver in my new silver Cricut marker. So I made a duplicate of the mom, just in case I wanted to keep a cut version, I thought I'll cut one out just to see if and place it on the card and just see if I like it. And I'll do a version of I'll make the mom writable on the front in silver, and I'll see if I like that one better. It's all about options. So I'm just ungrouping it here. Here I'm making that mom word. And keep in mind, this is my first card. I'm figuring out this software as I go. So I just figured out how to make it writable. I in the group there, I turned it to the pen symbol. And then I liked it big and bold and silver, so I placed it, and that was my final one. I thought, yes, I'm gonna keep it like that. The green mom off to the right, I'm like, oh, I may use that, I'll try it, but probably not. I'm just gonna keep the silver word mom. So now the last element that I need, I've got my text, I've got my character, I've got my background. Now I just need a decorative element behind my flapper girl. That's where I go into free Art Deco frames, and I think I put in frame here. Yes, I did. And there's a lot of Art Nouveau here, but that's not Art Deco. It's not the same thing. They're different eras. Even though Art Nouveau is my favorite era, I'm looking for Art Deco, which is there. I'm pointing at it right now. It's more linear, and that's exactly what I want behind my girl. Just that fan looking triangle thing. That's what I've got in my head, and that's what I'm looking for here. But you also have to be careful. You can't just use anyone's image you find on the internet. You know, if you use it for the basic shapes, you know, a triangle isn't copyrighted or something like that, you know what I mean? But you can't go taking someone else's design, so you have to be careful what you use. So I'm searching for things, inspiration, but also images that I could use. And I'm really just showing you this to show the design process and how long it takes and what you can and can't use. So the look that I'm going for is, you see that the triangle and the square linear look. I'm going for that, but I'm going with a cool look. Rather than gold and black, I'm going for a cool green and silver, because obviously I'm writing the word mom, and the green I'm using is a cool green, so I'm gonna stick with silver. That's what's going on in my head. So I'm seeing lots of Art Nouveau, which is complete opposite of Art Deco. It's very organic and circles and curvy lines and feminine. There. So I found this fan here, which is very Art Deco, and I thought that is perfect for behind my character. Oh, kitty cam break. I had to put her in because Olive, my cat, was lounging by the tripod while I was cutting my first Cricut card. So that's her there. Lounging in a sun patch. I thought cat lovers might appreciate this moment. Don't worry, it's not long. Hi, Olive. Okay, after the kitty cam break, now I'm going to show you how to make this symbol here underneath the mom. I just figured I'd just make my own symbol. It'd be a lot easier than finding one online that I had rights to use. And I could show you as well how to make one in Illustrator if you wanted to make one. So here I am just opening up. I had made a screen capture of the, you know, basic lines that I wanted to make, which you will see right there. So I choose it and I go place. In Illustrator you choose file, place. So I'm just tilting it on its side because I actually want it to be more square like that, but then you don't want to distort things like that, especially fonts. That's a little design trick you should know. You don't want to distort things. Try to keep constrained proportions on whenever you can. That's the lock setting, to keep the proportions the way they're supposed to be. Otherwise, things look really cheap fast and warped. Anyway, so I want my squares to be squared, not warped squares like on the edges there. So right now what I'm doing is I'm using the trace tool tab in Illustrator. See how it says image trace? And I'm just playing with the trace options. So that's one way to go if you have rights to use the image. There it's warped. You can see how the squares are stretched. But at this point I don't care because I've decided to make my own lines and I'm going to make them squares. So I've just zoomed in here and I'm zooming back out. I don't know what happened, I did something. See, the image trace didn't do a great job because I stopped playing with it. But I've decided to make my own here using the pen tool. So I click on the pen tool and you click down and you use shift and it keeps it, you know, in a straight line and in degrees of say 45 degrees. So I switched it to, down in the bottom there, I made it green and I switched it to an outline instead of it filling the space. So I'm just quickly going around making, as you can see, going on top of the lines. I'm using it as a guide, that's all. See, I'm just basically copying it. All they are lines going around. So and then at the end you see the little circle. If you click on the last one, it joins it. Then the last one is this third one here. I'm just going around all the points, clicking, click, click, and holding shift, and then at the end it will join it. Now if you see, it's not straight there, so I'm going to click on the white arrow in the tools in a second. Actually, first I'm changing the line, the stroke width. So I go to the stroke tab, I choose the corners, I'm choosing the weight of, see the outer two I want thicker, so I'm going up to 6 points, and then I choose the other line right there, and then I'm going to go up to 6 points as well. Then I'm choosing the inner one, and I'm only going to make it, I think I made it 4 because it's a thinner line. And that gives you that Art Deco look. There I'm using the white arrow and picking the point and just nudging them over with the arrow buttons on the keyboard. And it will, you just choose the point and nudge it over. And there, now I have made my own line design. So I unlocked the picture I had locked in the background so that it wouldn't move when I clicked it. I'm grabbing it all now, trying to separate it from, there's the original picture. I'm just going to delete that. Take them all, I'm grabbing them all in Illustrator now, and it actually looks warped. I didn't even bother making the squares look like squares, but I knew that when it printed in the background with the silver pen, it's really not gonna matter. And I was just doing this super quickly, you know, like if it was paper, I would have cut it out so that the squares look better, but really I know this is gonna be a very minor element in my design. So I'm choosing object now. I'm looking for create outlines of the strokes, because right now the lines are strokes, and I want to do I want to make it a fill. So I want it to go to actually I forget again. That's why I'm looking around in the program what it's called. I think it's over in the stroke tab, and it's create, oh there it is, outline stroke under path. So now I've outlined the stroke, and all it's done is changed it from lines into like a vector image. Then I go to save as, and I'm gonna call it Art Deco border, and I'm gonna choose SVG and save it and just go okay, SVG 1.1. Then I'm gonna go back into Design Space, and I've already done all this. I just re-recorded it for you because I lost the footage, so I did it again really quickly. So you go to upload image, and I've already done it, so I just uploaded just chose it again to show you. So you choose that, and then it may come in looking a bit weird like it did there. I don't know, it's a vector thing. I've experienced this a lot when dealing with clipping masks and vector images, but it's totally fine. It's all there. It just sometimes the preview, it depends on how the software works and how the preview looks. So I ungrouped it here, and it's all there. It's just a matter of getting rid of some of those black pieces, which I don't know why it does that. It's a weird computery, glitchy, weird thing. But I just select them all and delete them. And then that's left me with the border that you see there. And then I just basically made it into silver lines and made it writable. Like I put the right symbol on it so that it, right there, I silver metallic and to write it. And then I placed it on my design. Like that. And here's the Cricut chirping away, doing what it's supposed to do, cutting the design out. Now we're going to assemble the card, and here I'm just fussy cutting out my green dress girl character. Again, refer to part 1 of these 2 videos to watch me color her if you want to. And I just sped up this footage because really nobody needs to watch me cut all of her out. And I just ended up chopping half of the card off here because I was just gonna glue the top on top of my thicker card base, which is gray there. So I glued the green, oh no, I haven't yet. I'm just placing, actually just showing you my design process here, but see the mom cutout, I cut it out just in case. I wasn't going to use it, but here are different ideas. I'm just playing with it, thinking, do I want to do the cutout mom like that? Here's another way you could do it. It's just a different card. And here I decided I didn't like the white edge around her, so I decided to do color around her, not in black but in dark gray. So I'm just using a dark gray Copic marker to do that here. So now I'm just placing her on the card. As you can see, the card is all cut out and the silver writing's on there, and I'm just using my Tombow glue to stick the light green part on the back of the front. And this is sped up so it goes fast, so it's hard for me to talk this quickly. Then I'm just gluing it on the front of the, I'm sticking it on the front of the gray card base. Now, I decided that the teal of the green was very cool, and the way I'd colored her was more of an olivey yellow green. I didn't like that clash. So what I'm doing here is a glazing technique. I'm using a couple of Copic markers in a more cool green set, very light, and a very light bluish green, to just go over her dress to glaze the dress and make it more cool so it doesn't clash as much. It's just a personal taste thing. Here I'm using a Sakura Jelly Roll Sparkly pen to make her beads, her beaded pearls yellow and sparkly. Here I'm just putting Tombow adhesive on the back of her and gluing her on the card. I'm using a Jelly Roll pen to make some highlights on her pretty 40s shoes. And eventually I didn't like the yellow beads, so I'm going back over with some white again, sort of make them white. Because this card looks better all cool colors, I figured. And I'm just making some more highlights in her hair again. I can't seem to leave her hair alone. So I'm gonna do some more glazing. I'm just adding some white highlights and then gonna go over again in like a lighter brown colors to pick out some highlights in her hair. Just making some more shadows over her eyelids, as in natural makeup, and some more shadows down her arms. And I decided I didn't like just the outline of the silver, so I decided to fill it in, which I think actually looks a lot better, looks a lot more striking. And that's it for the card base. Now I'm just going to do some stamping, some sentiments on the inside. And this is a clearly besotted stamp. I'm going to use the word mother. And this is a stamp by Penny Black. I'm going to use the I love you so very much. And another vintage looking stamp, a lifetime of memories. I'm just stamping there because I haven't used these stamps before. So I was stamping them out, just getting them prepared. And here's a lifetime of memories, mother, and then near the bottom it says I love you so very much, and then I'm going to sign it at the bottom. Here's the back of the card. I just doodled with the silver pen. It doesn't look very good in the end, but I had to have a feather on there because it's so very vintage. Oh, kitty cam break. This is my other cat, Mama, and she's about 15 now. Doesn't she look young for her age? She's way more sprightly than Ollie, believe it or not. Ollie's only around 2 or 3. Anyway, back to the card. Told you it was quick. Here it is. Mother, a lifetime of memories with you. I love you so very much. With a feather on the back. Love, Andrea. And I said, okay, the front needs something. This flapper needs a feather in her hair. This is an example of the creative process. That's why it's coming at the end. Because things evolve and you choose to add things where you see they need to be added. And so I just stamped it, cut it out, and I put like a light medium gray around the edges. Then I just used a jelly roll, and this is a silver jelly roll pen. I'm just enhancing the silvery feathery parts there. And that's it. It's finally done, I promise. We're at the end. Here's the center of the card and the back, that crappy little thing I put on the back. But whatever, it's very handmade, isn't it? So I really hope you enjoyed watching my process making this card. I know it's long, but sometimes creative process card making videos are long like this. Please sub and give me a like. Thanks very much.